Are you going to participate in our primary elections? Bernice has more on Super Tuesday, coming up in our lead report.
Coronavirus affecting the sports world, and good news for San Diego City College sports teams. Vicky Pineda will have more in sports.
People are still talking about the Super Bowl halftime show. Stay tuned for entertainment to see what's got viewers all shook up.
Temperatures around San Diego are heating up unusually early this year. We'll have Zach go over to our weekly forecast. Newscene starts now.
Welcome to this week's edition of Newscene. My name is Christina Painton.
And I'm Benjamin Guadarrama. Newscene starts now.
Super Tuesday, is next week.
Bernice, tell us what's going on with our presidential candidates.
Beside the Democratic presidential candidate is heating up. South Carolina is up next tomorrow then Super Tuesday brings the race through 14 states, including right here in California. South Carolina's energy is focused on Democrats after the Republican Party canceled its primaries. Adding to the drama this week's Democratic debate, which saw the candidates focus on frontrunner Bernie Sanders. As we saw in earlier debates, things got heated between the candidates at the Nevada and South Carolina debates.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. Democrats...
The politics of the country to ourselves.
Are you trying to say that I'm dumb, or are you mocking me here, Pete?
I'm saying that you shouldn't trivialize
I made
that
an error. People sometimes forget names.
I think she was talking about my plan, not yours.
I think we were talking about math, and it doesn't take 2 hours to do the math. Because let's talk about what it adds up to. Well, we don't. Let's talk about math indeed. Okay, so here's the math. No, here's the math. But doing nothing is what will happen.
Senator Sanders, you're allowed a quick response.
Even the audience heaped on Sanders, booing as he repeated supportive comments about former Cuban dictator Fidel Castro. This could potentially help the rest of the candidates, considering Bernie Sanders is not guaranteed for the November election. However, the candidates who will be on this upcoming Democratic primary will be as follows: Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Mike Bloomberg, Amy Klobuchar, and Tom Steyer. In another note, Pete Buttigieg is coming to San Diego on Monday, March 2nd. He is the last of the candidates to come to San Diego and will be holding a rally in Chula Vista ahead of Super Tuesday, March 3rd. That is all the time I have today. Back to you at the desk.
The Golden State's young voters will be a major decisive factor in the future for some presidential candidates on Super Tuesday. Jesus Lopez has more.
California is one of 14 states voting this Super Tuesday. Plenty has been made of the impact of Latino and Black voters in the lead to March 3rd. But City College political science professor Nicholas Boucher says the youth vote should not be overlooked.
Important is this highest office, the presidency, as well as a lot of the down ticket ballots, all the local level offices that will be coming up here as well in the general election. The implications for everything from tax code to immigration law to education, especially for students here, things that are decisive in terms of federal loans, interest rates on different programs like the public service loan forgiveness, etc. Those will be decided by the person that becomes the eventual president. And before they become that, they become the nominee. So, yeah, it can't be overstated how important this next election will be for everybody.
In past years, voters had to register in advance to cast a ballot. But you can still register to vote the day of. We can all agree on the importance of voting.
To have a say in this kind of topic, and it'll probably help us like more if we're really concerned about like people here and people anywhere. It could really affect us in the future.
Young folks nowadays, we have more power than a lot of the older folks, and a lot of the older folks don't want to get out and vote, and they can't get out and vote. So it's our job to kind of make up for the lack of the fact that they kind of can't do that, or something like that.
Talk is cheap, voting is free. Take it to the polls. Reporting for Newscene, I'm Jesus Lopez.
At City College, the Associated Student Government and Dr. Boucher are hosting a watch party to discuss the primary results on Tuesday.
As Democratic presidential candidates rack up endorsements, the San Diego Union Tribune looked beyond frontrunner Bernie Sanders.
The editorial board endorsed former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg earlier this week. The UT cited his military experience and centrist policies as factors in the decision. The Dallas Morning News and the Arizona Republic, though, said they will no longer endorse candidates for public office. It has taken 65 years, but Congress has finally approved legislation designating lynching as a hate crime under federal law. The Emmett Till Lynching Act was approved in a vote of 410 to 4 on Wednesday. It comes 65 years after the 14-year-old Till was lynched in Mississippi. The bill was introduced by Illinois Representative Bobby Rush. In the past, advocates say there has been over 200 attempts to pass similar legislation. The latest effort was in the works for almost 2 years.
In India's capital of New Delhi, at least 38 people have died in religious riots protesting a new citizenship law. The country's parliament has agreed to fast-track the naturalization of foreign-born religious minorities. The exception to the law is Islam. The Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, has called for peace, but the death toll is still expected to rise.
Candidates are rushing to the last minute trying to rustle up extra votes.
See which group of voters they are trying to win over.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
San Onofre's nuclear power plant is finally being dismantled after years. The project on the seaside plant just south of San Clemente began Monday. In 2012, there was a radioactive leak in one of the steam generators that led to the plant being taken offline and later shut down. The process is not without controversy, and at least one local watchdog group has filed a petition to halt the process.
The CDC is advising Americans to prepare in case of a possible coronavirus outbreak. The rapid spread of the virus around the world is raising the CDC's concerns of it reaching the U.S. Experts say people can prepare and guard themselves by following many of the same practices to avoid the common flu. Washing your hands frequently and keeping up with local health agency reports are recommended. For CDC updates and guidance, visit cdc.gov.
Amid fears of the coronavirus, Olympic officials are still fully committed to holding the 2020 Tokyo Games this summer. As preparations for the Olympics continue, no decision has been made regarding the future of the Games. The World Health Organization is working closely with event organizers who encourage athletes to continue training. The Summer Games are scheduled for July 24th through August 9th.
Good news for the Tokyo Olympics, but is the coronavirus affecting the world of sports? Vicky has more.
Thanks, Ben and Christina. Coronavirus fears have made it into the world of sports. Several sports clubs and leagues all over the world have had to relocate, postpone, or even cancel matches. Many of those matches were originally scheduled to be held in infected countries such as China and South Korea. In Italy, Serie A soccer matches were closed to the public for safety. And in the U.S., the Red Sox took precautions by placing 2 players recruited from Taiwan in quarantine. And moving on to tennis, Maria Sharapova, the 5-time Grand Slam winner, announced her retirement this week. Sharapova wrote a lengthy essay published in the Vanity Fair. She says, injuries were part of the reason she was leaving the sport. Sharapova sees the upside. The 32-year-old is looking forward to being with her family and getting to choose her own workout routine. Sharapova broke into tennis back in 2004, winning Wimbledon and quickly becoming the world's #1. She captured the U.S. Open title back in 2006 and the Australian Open in 2008 and 2 French Open titles in 2012 and 2014. And moving to the MLS, there are many new faces in the league. And some big names are arriving from Liga MX. The first game will be feature former Morelia Edison Flores for DC United against Colorado tomorrow. And Kansas City's new striker, Alan Pulido, will also be debut against Vancouver. 7 new coaches will be on the sidelines this weekend, and Chicharito will also make his debut as captain for the LA Galaxy on Saturday's meet with the Houston Dynamo. And closer to home, the San Diego City College men's basketball team is continuing its winning streak. City College defeated LA Southwest in the first round of the Southern California Regional Playoffs. The Knights were boosted by its starters, all scoring in double digits, and the Cougars only had 1 starter who scored more than 10 points during the game. The Knights will be on the road next, visiting Fullerton for the second round of the SoCal Regionals tomorrow. Fullerton and City have history. They met back in 2017 state championship game, where the Knights hit the last-second shot to win the game. And basketball isn't the only Knights program being a success. City College's baseball team picked up a convincing victory over Citrus College this week, scoring 15 runs in the first 4 innings. The Knights then collected another win with a convincing victory over Imperial Valley, winning 12-3. The Knights improved to a 9-5 record overall. That's all I have for sports. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Vicky. Way to go, Knights. We're winning out there. So the San Diego Central Library is giving up its status as a federal document depository. After 137 years, the library decided to digitize the content typically found on its government document floor. Officials say that part of the library just doesn't get much use. Before the decision was announced, the downtown library was one of the only 5 in the region with the status.
Months after the passing of the gig economy law in California, AB 5 has its first test. A judge has ruled that grocery delivery companies Instacart is likely misclassifying its workers as independent contractors. But The San Francisco-based company disagrees with the claim it is violating state labor laws. It plans to appeal.
As Black History Month comes to an end, many candidates are reaching out to Black students and encouraging the youth to vote. San Diego City College Umoja Club had the chance to reach out to high school students to vote. Here's more. With Super Tuesday around the corner, candidates are making their case to voters all over the country. One group that is being courted by Democrats and Republicans alike is Black voters. At City College, activist Layla Aziz brought the issue to Black students. Aziz emphasized the importance of being an educated voter as Black History Month winds down.
Please vote. We have a mayor race. We have a school district race that's important. We have a city attorney race that's important. That's for this primary. Then in general, we have these ballot initiatives. But understand and do your research on how, when you vote, use your ballot like a bullet. It's strategic.
She says that young Black people need to understand how laws are used.
We look at the systematic, the institutionalized way that they're doing that, and that's where the fight is. So if you guys ever want to go to court and sit in a court hearing, one of those good ones, you can go with me, because you need to see what's going on in there. You need to witness, number one, how the law interacts.
The Trump campaign opened community outreach centers in Black neighborhoods in several states. On the Democratic side, Joe Biden is in the lead in South Carolina with 45% of the Black voters. Candidates on both sides are recognizing the importance of Black support.
But most of all, we need you guys fighting for your civil and your human rights. You don't have to be on the streets every day. You do your part.
Reporting for Newscene, I'm Christina Paynton. On the last day of Black History Month, South Carolina will be having their Democratic primaries and will be the first to deliver views from a significant segment of Black voters.
One issue we can all agree on is the high cost of housing. California lawmakers are proposing cuts to some local government fees to push construction of new homes. The fees can be found in thousands of dollars, which drives up the new cost of buildings. But more convincing is needed before the bills become laws.
The prices of homes in California are rising. And nowhere is that more noticeable than right here in San Diego. Prices in our metro area went up more than any other West Coast city in 2019. Costs here rose by about 5% in comparison to national averages of roughly 4%. Analysts caution that a lack of home sales may burst the housing market.
A massive dam located near Silicon Valley has been ordered by government officials to be drained. The 240-foot-tall dam is located near the Calaveras Fault, and a large enough earthquake could collapse the structure, flooding much of Silicon Valley. Officials say that keeping the dam full is unacceptable. The Anderson Reservoir will be drained no later than October 1st.
Local drivers could see gas prices rise after a refinery fire in Los Angeles County earlier this week.
No injuries were reported and the fire was contained within hours. But gas prices could inch up by 10 to 15 cents per gallon within the next few weeks. The exact cause of the fire remains unknown.
Is your grandpa single? Stay tuned to hear about a great opportunity for him after the break.
Curtain call for a local theater and find more after the break.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
That's a wrap, everyone. Landmark's historic Ken Cinema is closing its doors, sadly. The only single-screen theater in San Diego has been steadily losing money over many years. Officials say online movie streaming and the changing theatrical landscape are contributing factors. The theater will have its final screening on March 22nd.
In other news, big things are happening in the world of sitcoms. Over to Noelle with the latest in entertainment.
Exciting news for fans of Friends. An unscripted reunion special featuring the 6 original cast members and its creators is coming to HBO Max. This will be the new streaming home of the sitcom. The entire library of Friends episodes will be released there in May. Fans don't have to wait until May, though. TBS has announced its plans to show every single episode of the sitcom on its platforms during the month of March. After 11 years, the end of the road has finally come for Modern Family. The Emmy Award-winning sitcom wrapped filming on its final episode earlier this week. Over the weekend, the cast posted tributes on Instagram from their cast wrap party. The final episode will air on April 8th. Switching gears to the Harvey Weinstein trial, who remains in a New York hospital after he was convicted of a pair of sexual assault counts earlier this week. Multiple media reports described the disgraced Hollywood producer as defiant. The 67-year-old is urging his defense team to keep fighting on his behalf even as he awaits transfer to Rikers Island. Weinstein will be sentenced on March 11th. He is facing a maximum of 29 years in prison in New York and second trial in Los Angeles. For all the fans of The Bachelor out there, the franchise is growing older? During Monday night's episode of ABC posted its usual casting call for the upcoming season, but this time there was a twist. ABC is now looking for seniors 65 and older who are looking for love. ABC's chief of reality programming took to Twitter to confirm that our eyes aren't playing tricks on us. A boomer bachelor is coming, so if you have a grandparent looking for love, sign them up. The Super Bowl has come and gone, but complaints keep coming about J-Lo and Shakira's halftime show. The FCC received more than 1,300 complaints about the performance. Viewers criticized the show being too risque, not suitable for children. Some spectators thought the show was promoted sex trafficking, while others were simply upset that there were no adult content warnings. The Super Bowl fans were so upset they threatened to boycott PepsiCo, the Super Bowl, and even the NFL. Switching gears, on Monday, a public memorial at Staples Center for Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna took place. The Staples Center was filled to the brim with Bryant's family, celebrity friends, and thousands of mourning fans. Tickets for the memorial ranged from $24 to $240, paying tribute to Kobe and Gianna's jersey number. The two have been laid to rest. That is all the time that I have for today, guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Noelle. Do you have weekend plans? A drastic change is heading our way. Zach will have the latest after the break.
A Dog's Way Home is the story of the extraordinary lengths a dog will go to in order to get back to their family. Every year, millions of dogs and cats end up in shelters and rescue groups. We found our Bella at a shelter in Tennessee. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover they're all pure love. Adopt pure love and help a shelter pet find their way home at theshelterpetproject.org.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge.
my landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
Changes to our local weather will be impacting our weekend. Zach, can you tell us about the forecast?
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look ahead into our weather this weekend. This weekend we'll have a beautiful weekend, mostly sunny Saturday. Unusually, we'll have a chance of showers on Sunday, and hopefully it'll clear up on Monday. We're expecting a clear day. Let's take a look at our current temperatures. Right. So on the coast, we'll be having normal weather, very warm, very moderate, 75 degrees, partly cloudy. As we go inland, it'll get a little bit colder, 73 degrees inland towards the El Cajon area. In the mountains, it'll be 57 degrees, partly cloudy, and the desert will be 66 degrees. Let's take a look at our national forecast. Right. Up near the Great Lakes to the east coast, we'll be having a lake effect snow blowing in. So the east coast can expect freezing temperatures, and that will also affect the southeast, which you can see has a chance of precipitation. Going up into the northwest, there'll be moving on to today's temps. In the coast, we'll be having moderate temperatures. 5-day forecast. On Saturday, it will be a high of 69, a low of 48. On Sunday, we'll be having a chance of showers, 59 degrees and 41. And that's all I have for you today. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Zach. That's all we have for today on Newscene. I'm Christina Paynton.
And I'm Benjamin Guadarrama. Thanks for watching.